Some days we forget to look around us. Some days we can see the joy that surrounds us. So caught up inside ourselves, we take when we should give. So for tonight, we pray for what we know can be, and on this day, we hope for what we still can see. It's up to us to be the change, and even though we all can still do more, there's so much to be thankful. Look beyond ourselves, there's so much sorrow. It's way too late to say, I'll cry tomorrow. Each of us must find our truth. It's so long overdue. So for tonight, we pray for what we know can be, and every day we hope for what we still can see. It's up to us to be the change, and even though we all can still do more, there's so much to be thankful for. Even with our differences, there's a place we're all connected. Each of us can find each other's light. So for tonight, we pray for what we know can be, and on this day, we hope for what we still can see. It's up to us to be the change, and even though this world needs so much more, there's so much to be thankful for.
Susan, yes, it is so much to be thankful for, isn't it? Oh my gosh, what a beautiful song.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
called Thankful.
Yes.
You already know it? Okay. Yeah, Josh Groban recorded it.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Let's stand this morning and sing our opening song, Swing Wide the Doors.
Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. I'm not holding it in.
But you know what? 4 verses in a row, the first line was, it's about love. Right? I mean, that just, we've been singing that for how long, and I just noticed that? Wow, but it's true. It's about love. It's about living our life with open hearts and sharing that not only with ourselves, because we want to love ourselves, but to share that love with others, however you do it. However you do that. I'm so happy today, not only because it's such a beautiful day, but Donna Drozda's here today. Yay! We're so glad you're here. Donna is part of our family and been coming here for 15 plus years. Many. There you go. Yeah. So we're so grateful for that, and I know she's got a wonderful message for us. And we also have lovely Amy here today. She's feeling better. Yay! We have missed you for many reasons. Your beautiful smile and your loving presence you bless us all. We're so glad you're here today. So let's just take a moment and just settle in our seats and open our hearts and our minds and feel that Christ's presence flowing through us. And we are so grateful for this day. So much to be grateful for. And we are so blessed. And sweet Spirit, we ask that our mind be your mind, our heart be your heart, our thoughts be your thoughts, our words be your words, and our actions be your actions. We feel the love and the light of the universe, of the sweet Spirit of the universe flowing through us and around us, and in all living things. We see ourselves on the web of life, radiating our true presence, the presence of love and light and Christ's love, flowing through the web and reaching all living beings, touching them. And as it all comes together, see it all come together of everyone, and you'll see the light of the web just shining brightly. Shining brightly. That is the Christ light. That is the presence of the divine flowing all through the web and flowing back to us. Because as we give, we receive. We are truly blessed for this day, sweet Spirit. And we give thanks for that. And so it is. And as we stand for our next song, we greet each other first. The Christ in me greets the Christ in you. And we're going to sing an Eddie Watkins song that you all know. So let us acknowledge not only the Christ in ourselves, but the Christ in all things. The Christ in me greets the Christ in you. 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 All right, so let's sing our next song, I Am the Place Where God Shows Up. And that is another truth.
Wise enough to
God lives. You are the place where God lives. You take God wherever you go and whatever you do. So together, let's say our Unity Williamsburg Spiritual Center. Together, Unity Williamsburg Spiritual Center is a radiant center of divine life, light, and love. We are a thriving, prosperous spiritual community that honors the divine presence in all and celebrates our oneness through loving service in our community. That is a wonderful affirmation. And together, let's say pray our Lord's Prayer. Together, our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And leave us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Amen. So we have another song. It's the usual Thanksgiving song. Come, ye thankful people, come. How many years have we been singing that one? But it's perfect. All righty. Together, please stand.
Come, ye thankful people, come. Praise the song of harvest home. All is safely gathered in, ere the winter storms begin. God our Maker doth provide for our wants to be supplied. Come to God's own temple, come. Praise the song of harvest home. All the world is God's own field, fruit unto His praise to yield. Wheat and tares together sown, unto joy or sorrow grown. First the blade and then the ear, then the full corn shall appear. Lord of harvest, grant that we wholesome grain and pure may be. Lord, our God shall come, and shall take His harvest home. From His field shall in that day all offenses purge away. There forever purify, in His presence to abide. Even so, Lord, quickly come. Praise the glorious harvest.
Thank you for that. Please be seated. It's an opportunity now to welcome any new people. If you would like to introduce yourselves, you may, and it's not required. If you wish, you don't have to, but it's an opportunity. So either way, we're so grateful that you're here, and you have blessed us with your presence, and we thank you. We're a thankful people. And now is an opportunity to prayers for someone that you wish. If you will take that person or that event and hold them in your heart. Hold them in your heart and see the Christ presence surrounding them, taking care of whatever situation that needs to be taken care of. You see that love and that light flowing through them, filling them, surrounding them, and knowing that all is being taken care of. Knowing that. And those of you at home, do the same thing that are watching from home. Hold that person in your heart. And if you have a celebration that you wish to pray for, hold that in your heart and feel the joy of that celebration flowing through you. And together, let's say our prayer together. As we center ourselves in the one presence and one power, we realize that our thoughts have the power to heal and bless. We send them out now, carrying love, peace, joy, and life to situations and celebrations that we hold in our hearts. Thought by thought and prayer by prayer, we transform the world. Amen. Bob Osmond is our platform assistant today, and it's so good to see him up and moving around so easily.
Except for going up and down stairs. I was hoping Mary Moore would be here today so I could show off a little bit, but she's not here. Anyhow, good morning, everyone. This is the day the Lord hath made, and let us rejoice and be glad in it. And it's not just today, but this is our week of rejoicing and thanksgiving. It gives us this opportunity this week to give thanks that we're so blessed to live in the United States of America and have all the bounty that we have. So let's all be thankful for that. And so, because it's Thanksgiving week, I thought it'd be appropriate to have a few quotations from famous people, Americans, who have something to say about Thanksgiving. And I've got a few humorous ones and then a couple serious ones. So I went through probably about 50 of them on the internet, picking these out, and I decided that this one, the first one, is by far the most profound of any. And this is from Oprah Winfrey, and she says, "Good mashed potatoes are one of the great luxuries of life." I thought, yeah, I gotta
Absolutely
agree with that. Nora Ephron, who's one of our well-known authoress from back in the 20s and 30s. "Our world and our country is in a great turmoil in this day, but there are some things we can all agree on: turkey, sweet potatoes, and pumpkin pie." Good thought. There's part of the unity teachings is there's something we can all agree on, right? So you might have to reach, but that's one. And then Jerry Seinfeld, you all know him. I love this one. "If there's one thing that I've learned over the years, is that you can't give up on your family, no matter how tempting they make it." And then a couple serious ones. I don't want them all just to be humor. And this by Charles Dickens. "Showing gratitude is one of the simplest yet most powerful things that a human being can do for each other." What a great thought, huh? And from John F. Kennedy. "Gratitude is the inward feeling of kindness received. Thankfulness is the natural impulse to express that feeling. Thanksgiving Day is the outward expression of that impulse." So remember that on this Thanksgiving Day. It's the outward impulse of all your gratitude. So there's some thoughts to take with you. And our daily word reading for today is, the key word is grace, and the affirmation is, "Grace blesses my life in every way." And can we say that together? Grace blesses my life in every way. If I'm feeling overwhelmed, or I find myself in the midst of conflict, I don't need to struggle. Grace, the ceaseless activity of divine love, is mine to claim. The infinite resource of Spirit carries me through even the most challenging circumstances. It is expressing in my life right now. I need not earn grace. It is never withheld. Just as water flows when I turn on the tap, Saying yes to grace is all I have to do for divine life, love, wisdom, and strength to flow freely to every part of my life. Centered in grace, I'm at peace. My thinking is clear, and I possess ample understanding, compassion, and insight. Drawing from this divine gift, I bring harmony and joy to my relationships. I move forward with renewed confidence, energy, and efficiency. And from the book of Corinthians, he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for power is made perfect in weakness. So, and our special reading that was provided by Donna Drozda, who's going to be our guest speaker, to stay in the middle prepares us to meet the unknown without fear. It prepares us to face both our life and our death. And that is a quote from Pema Chodron. And Donna's going to be speaking on regard all that occurs as a dream. Donna, it's all yours.
Am I on, Christopher? Thank you. So good to be here today. I say welcome, welcome. Thank you, Reverend Denise, for inviting me. I call in Reverend Jan, who brought us all together in the beginning, and here we are in the middle of whatever is happening in our lives at the moment. I am very excited to be here today. I come to share, per Reverend Jan's invitation, to share the bridge that is between New Thought and Buddhism. Unity is a harbinger of new thought. It expands our mind, it opens our heart, and it connects us to the Christ consciousness. And Buddhism is all about life is suffering. And the way to stop suffering is to recognize that life is suffering, so you don't suffer over your suffering. So to bring those two together, to me, makes a pretty cohesive package for moving through the world. The Christ lives within me, and the Buddha nature is supposed to be killed when you meet it on the path, because the Buddha nature is not supposed to be nailed down. It's not supposed to be made concrete. It's not supposed to be created as a set of rules. The Buddha nature is now. It's our ability to open our heart and to connect with one another. So in my mind, being a 21st century individual, those two work so beautifully together, the Christ consciousness and the Buddha nature. It's like, I think they'd be pals. I think Buddha and Jesus would really have a lot to say about how we could bring our hearts and minds together these days. So I like to just get in the car. I very rarely have anything on in the car. It's a place where I know I'm in my space and I can just be. And it's an hour drive from my home to Unity, Williamsburg. And so I just drive and notice. And today the thing that kind of said, here I am, was a small oval sticker on the back window of a car that said, never walk alone. And it really connects with one of the songs that we sang, and just the whole idea of coming together. Whether we come together virtually or we come together personally, there's a sense of connection to those that we feel connected to. So the idea of never walking alone is a really it's a powerhouse. You know, I'm never alone, you're never alone, we're never alone, until we fall, until we feel like we can't handle it. And then we feel very alone. And then we wonder, where's the help? Where's the support? Who sponsors me when I'm falling and when I feel alone? So this year, I'm going to read my points of reference. My theme for this year and my talks about this bridge between New Thought, expanding our open heart and connecting to one another through the Christ consciousness, and that bridge that we can walk over to the Buddha nature, where it's now, it's the present moment, and how can we, in this present moment, see one another in a way that we realize we never walk alone. So for 2022, the theme for the year is when the going gets rough, because it's kind of tricky out here right now in the world. Whether we're sitting in our home and feeling safe and secure, or we're an immigrant trying to find a place where we can feel safe and secure, or we're a refugee and we're wandering and we have no idea where we're going to land or what our day is going to be like. So there's so many ways in which the world is falling apart right now. And so when the going gets rough is the overall theme for the year. And then I come 4 times a year, and my first talk was Sit Still with the Restlessness, which is really hard to do because we get so antsy. And there's so much, how many people do we know that will claim that they have, I never get this right because I have dyslexia and I shift the letters, OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. How many people do we know who are, ridden with anxiety? How many people do we know that suffer from PTSD? How many people do we know that are so scared? So the umbrella this year is when the going gets rough, and the idea is to sit still with that restlessness. From a Buddhist perspective, we can't connect with one another if we're afraid of each other. So if we sit still with our own restlessness, our own fear comes up to meet us. In the Buddhist terminology, our demons dance. Our demons dance around our bed. And don't they usually choose to dance around our bed somewhere between 2 and 4 a.m.? It's amazing. It's like they got this alarm clock, and so then our anxiety and our unsettledness and our restlessness and our fears, they come to meet us. So in Buddhism, we're reminded to train the brain. Years and years ago, when Unity was on Cannon Boulevard in Newport News, one of the people who came every week taught me a great phrase that I just love so much. She'd see me and she'd say, just automatically, she'd see me and she'd say, "Kiss your brain," and we'd both go. And I love that because it's so Buddhist. It's so Buddhist, like train your brain, kiss your brain, have a toolkit. Know what's going to happen when the demons start dancing around the bed at 2, 4 a.m. What are you going to do about it? Don't be victimized. We're living in a very interesting time. I am absolutely jazzed that I chose to come to the planet at this point in time because it's such an exciting time to be in the world. There's so many ways in which we can engage and connect. And my goodness, you want to find something to live for, to be alive for, look around. This morning, I heard a piece of news. Somebody called it from the next room over and said, "Hey, Drozda, have you read that bees, honeybees, we need them to survive. Honeybees are living 50% shorter, they have 50% shorter lives now than they did in the 1970s. What an amazing world we're in. What an extraordinary place. From both Unity, New Thought perspective, and from Buddhist perspective, heaven is on earth. It's not like we have to go somewhere to find something that's better than this. And from a Buddhist standpoint, we're reminded that we don't ever walk alone, and that everything we do to connect with one another, with any living being, if we don't like each other, we can, raise a Have an apiary, raise bees, connect with bees, get a cat, get a dog, have a bird, have something. The Dalai Lama sees a robin outside the window, and he says to the robin, I vow to return to the earth as many times as there are atoms of the earth to assist in the release from suffering and the causes of suffering of all living beings. And the robin triggers that vow. It's a basic Buddhist vow. It's a vow that one takes when they take refuge in the Buddha and the Dharma and the Sangha. This would be the Sangha. This is the community. So this is where we reach and connect with each other. And I'll tell you, when our Sangha formed in 1996 in Virginia Beach, and a Buddhist Lama brought us together at Old Dominion University, that's where he was speaking, and he started a Sangha, and he gave us refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. So the Buddha, like the Christ consciousness, is this idea that we can reach for something bigger than ourselves, something greater than ourselves. And the Dharma is the teaching. So it would be, reading any of the authors that give us support around thinking from a unity standpoint, or any of the Dharma teachings of the Buddha, which are extensive. So we connect with the Buddha, the teacher, the Dharma, the teachings, and then the Sangha, those who are here to be taught, those who come together. But we all teach each other, so there's no one higher or lower in a Sangha. We all teach each other. And ain't it the truth? Whenever we come together in a community, in a connection with one another, our shadows come up, our egos come out. Something we hit up against one another. And it's Thanksgiving time, and it's an amazing time to think about how many of us, and this really gets covered in Buddhism a lot, we want to be grateful for everyone. Come together around the table, haven't seen each other for a while. In Buddhist teaching, it's be grateful for everyone. That's one of the Lojong teachings. There's many, many teachings. And what does it mean to be grateful to everyone? From a Buddhist perspective, we're grateful for the people who push our buttons. We want to know who pushes our buttons, because then we know where we want to kiss our brain, wake up and train ourselves so that they don't trigger us anymore. Now, we never get perfect, and perfection is not the direction we're trying to go. The direction we're trying to go is to love, to open our hearts and be compassionate. It's not easy being me. It's not easy being you. It's not easy attempting to find our common ground. It isn't easy. But if we can't do it with one another, one-on-one, where are we going? So my second talk was Connect with the Heart, and it happened to be on Mother's Day, which has very deep meaning for everyone. But from a Buddhist standpoint, there's a lot of opportunity to put our tongue in our cheek and go by that. So in Buddhism, they go, everyone was once your mother. Everyone was once your mother. So when you meet somebody and you connect with somebody and they rub you the wrong way and they create friction for you and they get you, they hook you, you go, oh yeah, my mom used to do that. But she's my mother. She got me here. I love her. Well, in the West, I've mentioned this before, the Buddhist teachers from the East realized that, in the West, a lot of people actually had a lot of trouble with their mother. So they had to revise the way that they taught that idea. And they said, well, imagine that your cat was once your mother, or your best friend was once your mother. And, don't feel like you have to be literal about it. Don't make anything solid. That's the whole idea of regard all that occurs as a dream. In a dream state, just before the demons start dancing around the bed between 2 and 4 a.m., we might be in a lovely dream. We might be in a blissful field. We might be really just floating along. And then the demons come and wake us up, and now we're awake, and now what do? We recognize that everything from a Buddhist perspective, which is it's a philosophical and it's a psychological approach to life. When I was in Tibet and I was in the monasteries, the lamas made it clear through translators. Buddhism is a religion for those who need religion. Buddhism is a philosophy for those who need a philosophy. Buddhism is a psychological state. Kiss your brain, train your brain. It's a psychological state that allows us to rise above what A Course in Miracles refers to as the battlefield of the third dimension. How do we not get hooked? Well, if everything that occurs is as a dream, we can lighten up. We can lighten up. It's transitory. That's basically what that's referring to, is that everything is in transition. Again, nothing can be nailed down. I hate you is a trigger to kiss your brain, train your brain, and realize that in Buddhism we're reminded, if I can get this right, today's enemy, tomorrow's friend. Today's friend, tomorrow's enemy. How many of us have experienced that coming and going? Somebody we thought was so important in our lives. I had a dear, dear friend, came to dinner almost every single evening to my home for years and years with her husband. Then she found out her husband had fathered a child with a waitress at the restaurant where they went to lunch every day. And he'd been paying for this child's upbringing in secret for 10 years. And she found out. And her whole life crashed. She had nothing to hold on to. And so she got rid of everything except him. She made him stay. She was going to punish him for the rest of his life. But she got rid of me and anybody else that was part of her life before she found out about this love child. And I gave it a year. We didn't speak to one another for a year. And it came up on Christmas, and I thought, gosh, just love to say hi. Just like to see how she's doing. Love to connect. So I phoned her up. I'll never forget this. It was a blizzard. It was a few days before Christmas, and it was a blizzard. And the snow was just blasting outside the window. There was a telephone pole not too far from the window at the curb. And I dialed her up, and her husband, who I adored, answered the phone. And he answered, ho, ho, ho. And I said, hey, how's it going? Blah, 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 blah. Can I talk too? And he says, sure, let me get her. And she comes to the phone. And as she comes to the phone, in the blizzard, a hawk, a red-tailed hawk, I love birds, I know their names, came and landed on the telephone pole outside my window with a robin in its talons. And it started pulling the breast feathers out of the robin while I get on the phone with this very, very dear to my heart friend. And I say, I just wanted to call and let you know I'm thinking about you. And I didn't know how else to start the conversation after a year. And she said, that's funny. I never think of you. And there we were. I don't remember what happened. I don't know if she hung up right then or if I just looked at the hawk tearing the robin apart in the blizzard, out in the snow. But it was such an important moment in my life. Nobody has to think of me, but I have to think of her. I have to think of her. I have to find a way to not make her an enemy because I am no longer her friend. To me, that was such a dream scene. Can you imagine it? Can you just imagine it? It was just a dream scene with the blizzard outside, the snow accumulating, the hawk landing, tearing the breast out of a robin so the hawk can eat. And the robin sacrificed its life that day so the hawk could live. And my friend was in such deep pain, and she loved me so much, she could not have me in her life. She could not. I represented a time in her life when everything was so different that it just didn't work anymore. Didn't work anymore. And it gave me an opportunity to kiss my brain, train my brain at that moment not to, what would be like, not to reciprocate that need to push away. Now, in Buddhism, there's that wonderful practice called Tonglen, Tonglen, Tonglen. And Tonglen is a wonderful, wonderful practice for Thanksgiving. The Dalai Lama reminds us, he's such a man, you know, such an extraordinary human being. And he teaches us that no matter what religion we are, Buddhism helps, it doesn't hurt. It does no harm, because it's a philosophical approach to life. It's a way in which we train the brain. We kiss our brain. We realize we can have a whole brain or we can have a segmented brain. We can be lopsided, you know, we can fall in one direction, right or left, good or bad, up or down, male or female. The dualities, they're constantly reminding us of the dual nature of life. It's like a dream. You're my friend today, you're my enemy tomorrow if you don't think like I do. It's so fascinating. So the Dalai Lama says, don't worry about Buddhism being a religion. It's not in conflict with anything that you believe or any system that you follow. It is an adjunct. It supports, because it's about loving kindness. So, seeing the obstacle as the teacher was the third talk I gave in September, and seeing the obstacle as the teacher is kind of what I just demonstrated with this friend of my heart. She's still the friend of my heart. 3 years later, I took another chance, and I called her up. And I said, there's a computer conference, like a big computer show going on in downtown, and you guys are all about computers for your business, and I have free passes. I wondered if you and your husband would like to go with me on the free pass. And she agreed. This was very weird. I'm attempting to bridge and just see her as in my heart. And I know she never thinks of me, but I'm just letting her know I think of her. She and her husband picked me up. I'm in the back seat of their Subaru, and we're on our way to the convention center. Life is like a dream. Everything that occurs is transitory. Every single thing that's ever happened to any of us is just energy moving through us. It's flowing through us. But our brain wants to grab certain things and hold on really tight. In Buddhism, there's something called the hungry ghosts. And the hungry ghosts dance around the bed between 2 and 4 a.m. They're very, very hungry. Their throats are so narrow, they're the size of a horsehair, a single horsehair. Buddhist stories are so fabulous. So this hungry ghost has a throat the size of a horsehair, so it can't swallow. And it has this gaping mouth because it's so hungry. And it's so hungry that it's grasping, grasping, grasping. I want that, I want that, I'm hungry for that. And it's grasping and grasping so relentlessly that, and for so long that its nails grow and grow and grow right through the palms and come out the other side, because the hungry ghost is just grasping, and it can't swallow because its throat is the size of a single horsehair. And so with that image in our mind, we walk through the world, we're grasping for something. What are we hungry for? What are you hungry for? It's so fascinating to think about how we're just insatiably hungry. And so we go to the convention. I've got the free tickets. Little do I know, this is so great. Little do I know that these two friends of mine that I haven't spoken to now in probably 3 years, they're like superstars at the convention. They don't need tickets. Everybody knows them. Now, did that put me in my place or what? She'll show me. I don't have to give her free tickets. She knows. She kind of basically runs the conference. So she's got this upper hand. And I had to swallow and just be there while she was introducing me to every vendor if she wanted to, or going ahead of me and leaving me way behind, leaving me on my own. Kiss your brain. Train your brain so that you're not in a state of reaction. That's why we say regard all that occurs as a dream. Don't walk around just waiting to see what's the next thing that's going to jerk my knee. Knee jerking. We're all going through the world. Not all. Not all. We want to really notice what creates that knee jerk reaction. In unity and in Buddhism both, we're reminded, take a deep breath. Bring yourself back into your heart. So, I'm driving up and this wonderful little sticker shows up and it says, never walk alone. And I think, yeah, never walk alone. We are never alone. From either perspective, from New Thought, from Buddhism, from any perspective that reminds us that we're all in this together, we're never alone. And when we feel alone, it really, really is such a great idea. Kiss your brain and bring yourself back into alignment. Bring yourself back home and realize that, hey, this is not where we actually live from. This is a ruse. This is always going to be making up stories about who's on my side and who's against me. This is always going to be Hatfield and McCoy. This is always going to be Quick Draw McGraw. This is always going to be the mischief maker. And Buddhism and unity both are so beautiful because they each remind us in their own way that the longest journey we ever take is 18 inches from here down to here. And this is the real crux of the matter. A lot of us are walking around with broken hearts from the Wayback Machine. Mr. Peabody, rev up the Wayback Machine. And we're bringing things that were so ancient into the present moment, and it freaks us out, scares us. It scares the younger parts of ourselves. So, we need a guide. I brought a book recommendation. You don't have to read it, but it is so, so excellent and wise. It is by Pema Chodron, and it's called The Places That Scare You. And it is a guide to fearlessness in difficult times. And like all of her books, it's 22 essays. 22 pithy little essays. And you can just do Bible cracking any moment of the day. You can just open it up and go, oh, look at this. It says, as the Buddhas of old gave birth to bodhicitta, which is loving kindness, and progressively established themselves in the training of bodhicitta, so I too, for the benefit of beings, give birth to bodhicitta, which is loving kindness, and progressively train myself in that discipline. We're so reactionary, and we're addicted to reacting. We've been trained really well to just react, react, react. We've been trained to who's the most outrageous out there, and we just can't take our eyes off. It's like a train wreck. Can't take our eyes off. But we can kiss the brain, train the brain to drop down 18 inches into the heart. We can do that 1,000 times a day if we need to. And each time we do it, it's like the proverbial pebble in the pond, and it ripples out. We don't know where it's rippling to because everything's a dream. We don't know where it's going, but we can trust that it's going someplace that is evolutionary and that is lifting us out of the muck and the mire, like a lotus blossom coming up out of the mud. We can come up and we can just float and flow through the ups and the downs as if it's all a dream, as if it's a blissful dream, as if it's a joyful dream, as if it's, I'm so glad I dreamt all of you today. I'm so grateful that I get to see each of you in my life at this moment in time. What an amazing gift. The places that scare us are the places that, with my dyslexia, I learned that the word scared becomes the word sacred. It all depends on how you see. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paulette. And thank you, Donna, for that wonderful message. We're so grateful. And I look forward to your theme next year. Yay. Always wonderful. So now is an opportunity to bless this church. There's a basket in the center if you wish to place something there. Those of you who are watching on the internet, you can mail us something, or that we have PayPal, whatever is your pleasure. And we are so grateful, and we are so blessed. I am so blessed.
I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful for all that we have. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful. We are so blessed.
Holding that blessing in your hand and over your heart, you have shared your love and your light with that blessing that comes to us. And we are grateful for that. And know that it is used not only to help the sanctuary, to help our spiritual center, but also to help our community. And thank you. And also, when we give with an open heart, when we move that 18 inches down from the brain into our heart, and we give with an open heart, that we also receive. And we truly are blessed as we bless others. Thank you. Bob Osmond has some announcements for us.
Well, Donna, thank you for that powerful message. You always knock my socks off every time you're here, yes. I've done this before, but I've never done that before. Today we have a board meeting after we do the fellowship, and as always, anybody is welcome to attend and hear the things that we talk about and what our plans are for the future. Next Saturday, we're going to be decorating our congregational area, and we're looking for volunteers. So anybody who would like to help us decorate, come in next Saturday at 1 p.m.
1:30. It changed this morning.
You changed it. Okay. I thought.
No, you read it correctly.
1:30. So we'll be here at 1:30. On Sunday, November 27th, which is next week, is the first Sunday of Advent. Join us as we light the Advent candle and start singing our favorite Christmas carols. We normally have our special luncheon on the first Sunday of the month, but next month we're actually going to have a Christmas luncheon on the December 11th, which will be the second Sunday of the month. So there's a sign-up sheet in the back, in the fellowship, and we'd like you to sign up for what you might like to bring that day so that we can have a good balance of food while we celebrate the Christmas holiday season. Our food drive for fish will end on December 4th, and so if you have any groceries and that you still would like to donate, we put them back there in the back, and they'll be delivered to Fish on the 6th of December, just in time for Christmas. Prayer boxes are available here and back in the fellowship room. If you'd like a special prayer, feel free to put something, what you would like in there, and our chaplains will take care of it. And our chaplain today is Jane Siegel, who will be in the far back corner. So if anybody would like a special prayer, she'll be more than glad to sit down and pray with you. And of course, all prayer requests are held in the strictest confidence. If anybody wants to, who are new people who are starting, who wants to be part of our email distribution, you can go to unitywilliamsburg.com on the internet and put in the request, and we will add you to our weekly Unity Fellowship update, Unity Williamsburg update. And I think that's it. Does anybody have any announcements they'd like to make?
I do. The text that I got this morning that changed the time, I walk into church and I look at my phone and I see a text saying 1:30 next Saturday, which is fine. But what she also requested, if you guys could stay a little bit later and help us take down the fall decorations and get the fall pictures off the sanctuary walls so it would be easier for the folks on next Saturday when they come and bring in the Christmas decorations. Also, if you would be so kind as to help, we've got some young folks here, Christopher and family are going to help bring in the Christmas decorations that are in the shed. We'll just bring those in and put them in the sanctuary here so they'll have everything available for them when they start decorating. So if you wish to do that, we would be very grateful, and we thank you very much. Is there anything else? No? We're good? All right. So let's come to the center and sing our peace song, and we are so grateful for Donna to be here today. Thank you for your wonderful message. We are so grateful for that, and so grateful for all of you. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is. I am divine. Blessings to you all. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. Safe travels to you all and your families. And I am so grateful that we're all together here this morning, sharing our love and our light with each other. Blessed be. Have a good day. Join us in fellowship.
Great job today.
Thank you.